was in the same school with Maimuna. Every day you see Fatu, Maimuna go out. Maybe he's even going to computer classes. Comes off, he has money. Now, your Fatu comes and says, Christmas is around, or Tobaski is around. Can you help me with something? You have nothing to tell your daughter. Anything except, Demal def samora milinyo def. A parent, a responsible parent. Go and do as your colleagues do. And that's what. And then they tell you, in fact, you are more beautiful than Maimuna. In any religion, prostitution is haram. And you are encouraging your daughter to go and sleep with men in order to get what she wants. Otherwise, yes. Oh, young man, torohal, akning e refite yep am len jeriñ. Mangi tok fi, I cannot even buy a candle. When I say in Wolof, it doesn't mean that it's only the Wolof that do it. I'm not talking about the Wolofs. But it happens. You sit down and say, can't you see what your colleagues are doing? And then you think that's good. And then she goes from Bakari Demba and then end up in Sol Gassama and then becomes pregnant. Sol says, me, I only saw you once. And say, oh, I know that party, you also slept with party. This is where baby dumping comes into play. Now, when they get pregnant, they select the person they think is more generous and wealthier and accuse you of being responsible for the pregnancy. When the guy says, oh, I only saw you once, how is that possible? Not knowing that even once can make somebody pregnant anyway. But, she slept with Kebadiba after me, and you expect me to accept the child. Not knowing, maybe it's Kebadiba from Sinter who impregnated her. I would take that. No way. This is the problem of this society. Materialism, money, wealth, power, influence.
I don't want to cut you short, sir. I met up with a woman. She wanted to attend a funeral. She returned. I met up with her. I said, yeah, there's a funeral. People are going there. No, it's day bright. You know, the problem is I cannot go now because I don't have money. I said, this is funeral. You're telling me you don't have money? He said, yes, it's commercialized because they are sitting down with a notebook. If you go, they write down how much you have put. The moral imperative. We're losing it.
It's not a moral imperative. Unfortunately, it's satanic influence. I remember there was this Senegalese musician, I hope he's still alive, Njaga Njai. I think Njaga Mbai. When he said he died, may the Almighty Allah have mercy on his soul. He said, when in one Wolof song, that when you die, and some people are hustling for your burial, your relatives are killing each other over your wealth. They have not even buried you. They're not thinking about burying you. They are fighting over your wealth. And that is unfortunately what is prevalent today. They have commercialized everything to the extent that if somebody dies, to go and commiserate with the family is a problem because at the end of the day, in fact, not all families, Allah forgive me too, because not all families are like that, and not all people are like that. Certainly also not the Christians, because I know. Now, when you go, you start new night yes, and they're looking at your pockets. If you don't put your hand in your pocket, they're not telling you sit down. But even if the house is jam-packed and you bring out an envelope, this is how bad materialism, greed has been entrenched in the minds of people. And this is very, very dangerous.
We assume that every decision you take, you make, domestic or foreign, is in the best interest of the people of this country. You've made key foreign policy decisions in 2013, notably the withdrawal from the Commonwealth, and of course, the severing of diplomatic ties with Taiwan. These are major foreign policy decisions of your government. We assume that these decisions are made in the best interest of the people of this country.
Yes, it was in the best interest of the country. Why would I make a decision that will be detrimental to the interests of the country? As I said, whatever I do is for the dignity of Africans in general and Gambians in particular. I see no reason why we should belong to something that is said to be common and we have nothing in common, where you spend more than you gain. In any relationship where one party earns more than you and you're still spending something towards that or contributing towards that, we are contributing to our own exploitation, and this is unacceptable. They have nothing for us but exploitation. What have we gained? We sent I think $11 million only for them to organize a workshop that teaches trade negotiations. 1 week workshop, 11 million. You know how many people we can send to the university with $11 million? And that's our contribution to the Commonwealth. And one thing also that the members of the Commonwealth may not know is that nobody asked the British where the money that they use for defeat come from. Now, if Gambia, as small as we are and as poor as we are, contribute 11 million, how about countries like they're called countries like Nigeria, because Nigeria is our friend, or South Africa? If little Gambia, its contribution is assessed at 11 million. What about Nigeria and other countries? And what do we get in return? Workshops.
On trade negotiations.
Now, what is the purpose of being a member to an institution which even denies your citizens visas to go to their country that exploited your country for 400 years? Now, if we all belong to the Commonwealth, where the British are common and we have the wealth, there shouldn't be a requirement for visa. Right? Then they moved the visa from the Gambia to Ghana. And we belong to the Commonwealth, where Her Majesty is the supreme leader. What are Gambians benefiting from being members of the Commonwealth? At least if there was free visa, one would have said, okay, at least they are going to UK free of charge. Without a visa, because that was there before. So, what is common in the Commonwealth? There is nothing common. We don't have anything in common. But to buttress it all, I've made it very clear that Gambia would no longer be a member of any neo-colonialist, imperialistic, vampire organization that will suck our blood and tell us how we should live. You want to be a slave? You don't cherish your independence? You want somebody to go and tell your children to be homosexuals because you belong to an institution, an ungodly institution? So if I say we are not going to take that, am I not doing it in the interest of the country? Yes. So also is Taiwan. It was my government that went with Taiwan, and it is my government that pulled the Gambia out of it, that relationship. Though I'm not going to give details. The people of Taiwan are still our friends.
Yeah, even the language announcing the severing of ties was conciliatory, was appreciative, was...
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We have nothing against the people of Taiwan. That's all I can tell you. And that is why I'm not ready to talk about anything unless I'm provoked. So far, so good. But don't think that I don't have genuine reasons that I can tell the whole world why we left.